open the meeting at 7 o'clock, Wednesday, March 19th. We are waiting for Selectmen's rep, but we have enough members to start. First thing to go over, congratulations, we have 2 new members, Jacob Landry and Jerry. Can you tell me your last name so I don't butcher it?
D'Agostino.
D'Agostino.
It's okay, I've had enough people butchering it the last few days.
I was gonna try not to.
Motion detected at your front door.
It's like my neighbor's house, it's my chickens pecking the ring camera. So, we have 2 new members. And we need to go over planning board roster. We got what, secretary, vice chair, and chair. Do you want to still be secretary, Jack?
Sure, unless if anybody else wants to do it, happy to.
Have anyone else that wants to?
Right, sure. Do it.
I'll make a motion that we elect Jack Evans to secretary.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstains? Congratulations, Jack, another year towards you.
Unless you want a different position.
Touche, I didn't think about that. Who's our vice chair currently?
Henry.
It was Henry.
It was Henry. Does anyone want that position? Who would like to be in that position?
I'd be willing to take it on.
Unless you want a different position.
No?
Chair's open, chair could be open. I'll make a motion for Matt Meacham to be vice chair.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Chair, last position, does anyone want it?
Already got one of those.
You already got one of those, yeah?
It's full of that.
I will stay with it if you want, but I'm not gonna make the motion.
Motion to nominate Patrick for the chair position.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, I believe that covers our roster. Thank everyone that came out for voting and all that.
Who seconded for the chair?
Jacob,
Jake.
you two are both sworn in, I believe I heard, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
Planning board recommended to DBA.
GBA, okay, yep, yeah. Who does currently? You?
Currently, that's me.
So the planning board for the 2 new members has 1 representative sits on the ZBA, kind of as a liaison, so to speak. So currently Matt is that, obviously position is now open, we're redoing the roster. You guys have ever been to the ZBA or planning board before?
No.
No. So probably don't wanna dive into that. No.
Yeah, it's been one meeting.
And I think you were here for the solar stuff, cause they're on your
Correct.
property, yeah.
Is that just a town requirement? Or,
Yeah, it's just the way for all the boards to get interconnected. So you have like a selectmen's rep,
yeah, I
and
know.
then each board. And then, so ZBA usually has a planning board rep, the idea is usually stuff comes from the planning board to them. So that person can bring the knowledge of why was it denied, why is it coming to you? And then you can ask you, hey, what does this ordinance mean, how do you guys interpret it? So that they can decide on their decisions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So. And then because of that, only 1 member on the ZBA can be from the planning board.
Mhm.
So you know he's liaison, Jack can't be a member of the
Right.
ZBA because he's already planning board. So I'm not sure you have to designate it anyways because you're just only allowed 1, but maybe it's the way they do it.
Look, or you can have someone voted into both boards, but
Yeah.
you're only single
Single person. Yeah.
member. But
Would you like to still be the liaison? Are you,
I'd be willing to, but if anyone else would like to take it on.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I think I'm pretty overextended, so Matt, if you'd be able to do it, that'd be great.
you're on budget committee too, right?
Keep the same workload.
Say, no, I can do it if you don't feel you can. Okay. So I'll nominate Matt Meacham to ZBA liaison. Second.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I think that covers the roster stuff. And then, so for town meeting, looks like most of the articles that we put forward passed. You just verify that though.
Looks like everything.
Everything passed. I believe Carol's working on verbiage because make sure 5 and 6 are clear, because they're both passed. There was no confusion between the two. I don't know if she actually finalized that, do you know? Debbie?
She gave us some new
Yeah, I
stuff.
don't know.
Okay. So I assume that this is the final, so this is the updated.
That's all the stuff she sent me that she updated.
When did she send it?
I don't remember.
Was it this week?
It might have been last week.
No, she had a question. Her or Jeremy in the order. But I believe, unless I hear otherwise, it moves out to be finalized. Floodplain development ordinance with the new definitions and terminology, verbiage, manufactured housing park ordinance. And obviously our zone ordinance, which we adjusted the solar, I believe, and what else did we adjust? I think it was just the solar and the regular one. There's the floodplain. Well, that's dark.
I think we also changed the water resources protection district.
Yes.
Jackson, yeah.
Yes.
I can check with her on that.
I'm just trying to. Dark.
Sorry about
It's
that.
gonna be a groovy meeting, I tell you. Yeah, I think. I cannot read this at all. Well, we did a floodplain development ordinance, I think that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of.
Well, there was a change to the water resources protection ordinance around the conditional use.
It was.
I think it was one of the first ones.
I just cannot read the copy of the copy.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, that's small. Holy cow. I can't read that either.
I think it is the first one, because we changed verbiage to make it more clear the standards that had to do with the wetlands ordinance, because it was a question of the road and
Yeah.
logging.
Exactly.
I think you are correct there. Obviously, these three will just have to, binders, add them in, replace your old outdated. I love redoing my binder.
Abby, when did they get put up on the changes on the website? Is that,
Right when I got them.
oh, so they're already up there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you, Eddie. And just so we're aware, for planning board, next year, Michael Leclerc and Matthew Meacham, you guys will be up. We'll try to remind you next year. I think that covered it in town meeting. Thank everyone for the hard work putting this all forward.
Thanks for moderating it.
Thank you. Quickly do draft minutes, get those out of the way, I think you're gonna see them. Let's go over the minutes from March 5th, 2025. Yeah, there isn't. Line 30, Jack. That's supposed to be 7,939.83.
Line 30. Yeah. No.
Oh, it seems like
That was a typo there for sure.
Fifth 939.8.
Yeah, I'll fix that.
You must be Jacob. Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the correction to number on line 30.
A second?
Any discussion? This question's I won't finish reading. Is the live still working? I know the last time we had a meeting it was really bad.
Yeah, it was cutting in and out. Yes, we're still live. Not quite at the record yet, though, so I'll keep going.
You did a pretty good job, Jack, given that. discussion on the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
I'll stay.
Thank you. Alright, so, new business, before Paxton, you have a quick subdivision thing?
Yeah.
For the land trust.
Thanks.
Quick and easy, get out of here.
So really, I just have a procedural question. I have a client who is working on a minor subdivision.
Who are you?
Jed Paquin, Paquin Land Surveying, and I'm working on behalf of the Robert and Lynn Smith Living Trust. So, my client wants to utilize stone walls as boundary lines, and in order to do that, the lots are not going to conform to the 2 acre minimum. They will be approximately 1.6 acres. So the question that has been brought up to me is procedurally, can we just go to the zoning board? I was informed that I cannot. And so what's the procedural requirement?
You submit your plans to the planning board, have them rejected, and then go to the board of adjustment for appeal.
And I'm just trying to understand that because it's a costly venture to submit an application, pay for the hearing, notice, etc., and then have it be denied.
That's the way it works.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's just a really unique scenario
Done
because,
that before, though,
We've
but
spent a
not
lot of,
We did contact the ZBA, we wanted the actual official denial.
I can speak for the select board.
okay,
We have spent a lot of time over the last 7 years, 8 years since I've been here, trying to come up with a consistent plan that conforms with state law,
okay,
so that it's the same for everybody.
okay.
This poor guy, is this your 6th time here?
I think so.
Would you like a job application?
Yeah.
I'm
You know,
already on.
I have my own projects where I had to pull my project because it wasn't exactly right. And so, unfortunately, or fortunately, if you had walked in here 8 years ago, they'd probably just said, sure. But we have problems with that too. There was inconsistency, so you walked in here and they said, sure, and then he walked in here and they said, no way, Jose, and his conformed and yours didn't. So, what do you do with that one? So we've got, it's the same for everybody.
Yeah,
That's the written procedure,
yeah,
and it's consistent, and it conforms to the law.
but it needs to be a formal denial, so I can't get an
Correct.
informal denial tonight.
Correct.
Correct, yeah.
Okay,
So we could set a date for we have enough time to April 5th, don't
Yeah, or is it a fourth?
we? It might be the,
Oh, wait, hold on.
The question I would have for you as a member,
mhm,
it would be, you said you want the property lines to conform, follow stone walls.
yes,
Not necessarily unreasonable,
mhm,
but it sounds like you have 2 lots, neither of which is big enough, because you said they're 1.6 acres.
well,
So what you're really looking for is a variance as to size on 2 lots,
on 2 lots, yes,
so you're gonna have 2 undersized lots.
correct.
More is the reason. More, you're not gonna have one undersized lot, you're not making a lot line adjustment, you're looking for a subdivision that does not conform.
Correct, yes.
And economic hardship is not a reason for a variance.
Well, I think that that's changed because there's 2 points of law about it. There's A and there's B. B speaks more to the economics and A is.
Well, you can make that case to the ZBA,
Right,
I mean,
right. I mean, that's really the nuts and bolts of it. And then question 2 is related to a subdivision that's in process. I have approval, but the state is requesting that I do a septic design for it, for Sorrel property.
mhm.
And so what is the procedure for that? Can I just go right to the ZBA or do I need to bring so the septic system,
They've been, the plan for Sorrells has already been up here.
the subdivision, yeah.
the subdivision has been approved,
Yeah,
but I need to get state subdivision approval. And they're saying, look, you have a septic system that's on a neighbor's lot,
Mhm.
we want to prove that if that failed, you could put it on your lot. So,
Good luck with that.
right, and that's why I'm asking, because do I need to come back to the planning board, or can I go to the selectmen and say, here's the situation, I need relief from this setback?
Well, selectmen aren't gonna give you relief on it, we're not gonna go out on a limb. But I would say, being somewhat familiar with the project
Mm-hmm,
and the property,
mm-hmm.
why wouldn't you grant, why wouldn't you grant an alternate location by easement on the larger lot?
Because it can't logistically work because of the pond.
We've got one now. So the state, if I understood you correctly, the question of the state is, you've got one on the other property now,
It's an existing non-conforming.
existing non-conforming.
Mm-hmm.
So if that leach field fails,
Yes,
2 years, 10 years, 2 million years from now, why not grant them an alternate on that property where you could put one in, even if it had to be some bizarre lift system or whatever it is?
I'm just trying to find the path of least resistance, because arguably that does exist. I mean, that's what I told the state,
Right,
and they said, we'd prefer that if the easiest way to get approval from DES for the subdivision is to first get an approved septic system. It doesn't need to be installed, but just prove to us that you could install it if that one failed.
is there someplace on the new lot with the cabin on it that you could put a septic on there?
Yes, but it would require relief from the wetland setback.
I don't know that we're prepared to do that. Well, you can bring it to us, we'll see.
I guess my first thought would be, have the septic designer come in and ask where they could put it.
Aren't you a septic designer?
Yes, that's why I'm asking.
Okay, so I guess my question, you'd have to put it in the wetlands, is what you're saying? Or
No, in the buffer.
in the buffer.
Mm-hmm. The leach field would need to go in the buffer.
10
And-
feet, 2 feet, 200 feet, I mean, how close you gotta be, I
Do you guys have a 100-foot setback?
think so.
Yeah.
I think it's like 80 feet from the wetland, 75 or 80.
So you're
The
20,
state,
so you're
state
20,
wouldn't care
25
about
feet
that, though.
into it.
It's only a town issue.
Yeah, but you're 20, 25 feet into it, is what you're
I
saying.
believe so, yes.
You're gonna be into the wetland setback.
The setback, not the wetland itself.
Well, I can't, it probably the path of least resistance is bring it to us being the select board, and see if there's a will to waive it. And if the answer is no, then you know what your choices are.
Then you guys, but my next step with that project is to go to the selectmen.
Yeah, that was
then-
selectmen too.
That's why I'm asking
Yeah.
you. Thank you for being here,
Yeah.
really.
Well,
And then from there, you would say, hey, go to the planning board or go to the ZBA.
Well, if they say no, then it'll go to the ZBA because you got denied. And they'll
Right.
give you a letter or whatever saying,
I'm not sure it does, Kyle, on waiving a setback. Yeah.
Is the 100-foot setback only for new construction?
It's for septic systems.
Yeah,
Oh,
I-
it doesn't discriminate.
Okay, I know some towns have a 100-foot setback, but then for repairs, it's based on state rules. I don't know, I didn't know. if
well,
it was
it,
like that.
What is
If you-
the,
if you
what is the
scroll
state
back up, it'll bring it
setback?
up.
Sorry.
What is the state setback?
Well, it'll be 75 feet from the pond, and then there's a different wetland that's 50 feet for the state. But the town says 100 feet from any
Yeah.
wetland.
So what the town reads is, no septic system, including leach fields, shall be located closer than 100 feet from any boundary of the Water Resources Protection District.
And I'm sorry, what is your name?
Josh?
Yeah, and like Josh is saying, most towns have a provision for existing structures
Yeah.
that will say you can just get a special exception. But in this case, the town of Troy, as I read it, doesn't have that.
well,
Clause.
we don't, and it probably hasn't come up.
Mhm.
Because our properties fall into 3 categories. They're down here on town water and sewer,
Yeah,
they're out in the pucker brush, and they got more, and they're on a 25-acre lot, and there's someplace on the lot you can find that you can put it. Or they didn't ask and they didn't tell.
Right, and that's really what's happening, is it's cleaning up
Correct.
that.
And one of our issues is the historical aspect of, they didn't ask, you know, where the septic system is literally a 55-gallon drum that somebody took a shotgun to and threw it in the sand and piped to it. You laugh. I know, I was up a couple of weeks ago.
I believe that that's really what happened, that's why
Yeah.
I'm laughing.
Yeah, it's like, no. And it works. That's the really damning thing.
North Street and Ringe, VW bus.
Yeah, I heard of that. Just another good thing for Volkswagen. So, you can bring it to us, and that's the only one, that's
Okay.
your path of least resistance is bring it to the selectmen and see what the other two guys think.
Yeah, that's all, I'm just trying to understand the procedural requirements. That's what I'm trying to grasp.
I think that's in your case what you're gonna have.
Yeah, I think, in that second case, that's where you're going.
Okay, thank you. Switching back to the first one, if I get a denial for the application, can I get a continuance so that we don't have to redo the application fees and to redo the notice
Is
fees?
that how you usually do it, Kyle?
I believe so, because we had the public hearing, we deny you, it's still open, you're going to get a variance, you come back.
Yes.
It's a
That's
yay or
okay.
nay.
Yeah.
And if it's a nay, then you're like, hey, I gotta adjust my plans to make it work, because this did not work. So you may come back and say, hey, I'm gonna delete one of these.
Yeah.
But it has to be a public notice.
No.
Like, could you guys deny this plan tonight? Say,
No.
it's denied.
No.
Because there wouldn't be an official denial, because we don't have an official public hearing.
Okay.
That's kind of where the letter would look the same, but it's not connected to an official public
No,
hearing.
I understand.
So,
And that is how we do it, because when I had the house at 20 North Main Street, and I'm not sure if you were on the board at the time or not, but the former owner that I was buying it from had started a subdivision and had never gotten it fully recorded or applied for the variance required to create two undersized lots. Actually, what it was they were giving half of their lot to the abutter, so that they had a backyard for whatever stupid reasons. And so the planning board hearing was open, it went to the ZBA. The ZBA granted the variance to the former owner, who then they came back here, the plan was sitting here, the chairman of the planning board could sign off on it based on the variance. It went to record, and then I could close.
Okay.
so I think how it goes, if you got a denial, you come back, say, we, have a denial, I'm gonna adjust my plan.
Yep.
And we set, okay, we're gonna continue until the next date, let's say 2 weeks from now, you would adjust your plan to see if you can then meet the ordinance of, maybe combine the two lots into one. Obviously not 1.6, you'd have a 3.2. I think that's how it would go, but yes, the public hearing will stay open.
Okay.
Because what we do is, you have a denial, we're gonna continue this until we hear back from you.
That-
And then you go to ZBA, yay or nay, come back, and then we go from there.
Okay.
So, it'll be a process, you'll jump from board to another, but it'll stay open, so you don't have to come back and be like, paying to redo everything.
Right.
It'll be a continuance of the meeting, we'll just table it, basically, what we're gonna do is table it.
Well, thank you, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Alright. So, you have his information, I should ask for it.
I have his email and his phone number, but I don't have an abutters list, and if he wants to have the meeting, I think it's the 2nd, April 2nd.
Yeah, so what I'll do is tomorrow email him,
And ask,
see if the second work, and if you have enough time to get a buzz list.
Mhm.
If not, just work it out when.
yeah, that's totally fine.
Is the abutters list his responsibility? Right.
Yeah, well, so I say she, him that. I thought so that. Alright, so, moving back to continuation of the Paxton development. Did any of the plans change since last we talked?
Just the notes.
Just the notes, okay.
Well, since I put it in a second.
So which notes changes so you can point out?
Actually, 3 notes changed. The open space. Let me just get the easel. Sorry, this is painful.
Oh, we got a couple at the house for the kids' homeschool.
Um, so note number 8, open space is provided for use by landowners of lots 1 through 6. That's what it used to say, and then I added any future development of the open space is prohibited. And then I added note 9 to read this property is located in proximity to a property known as Meadowwood that has tested positive for VOCs and PFAS. NHDES will periodically test drinking water wells located within 500 feet of the Meadowwood site. That's basically exactly what Carol had me write. And then the only other thing I added, before I didn't have all these iron pins to be set, so I added all the iron pins to be set and then just a note saying what they would be with the license number that's going to be on the caps. And that is all that has changed with the plans. I don't know if you want me to go through them all again or, okay.
I don't, unless someone wants to go through it. You have 2 new members, we can have them jumping in at the tail end.
Can you give a quick run through?
Yeah, so basically, we came here initially with a proposal to do an 8-lot subdivision because we had enough frontage and area on an existing lot, on an existing road to do so. The town ordinances require any subdivision over 5 lots to have an open space subdivision, but require that all lots in an open space subdivision front on interior roads. There's a clause that says the planning board can waive that if we prove that it's not doing any more good than harm, basically. So that's what we came up with, a plan showing what a roadway would look like going through that lot, explaining that it would cause way more disturbance and wouldn't maintain any of the goals of the conservation subdivision. So we were proposing the 8 lots conventional, and then everybody felt that was too dense, so we went down to 6 lots conventional, the existing dwelling plus the 5 new lots. And then it was really felt that because we're still over 5 lots, rather than waive the entire conservation subdivision, that there's the ability to waive sections of the conservation subdivision. So we're ended up giving basically 4 acres of open space that runs along the backside of all the properties, which is creating 2 lots down here that are about 1.6 acres. And then 3 lots that are 2 acres, and then 1 lot that's 4.46 acres, all with deeded access to this 3.73 acre open space. And that way it's kind of like a combination of a conventional and an open space subdivision where you're designated all that open space out back. They can access this class 6 road and these power lines, but all the frontage is coming off an existing class 5 road. And that is a very quick overview. There's 100-foot well radiuses. We've done soil testing on all the lots for a septic system.
You understand what open space is?
Yes.
It's basically deeded. So every one of these 6 lots are going to have deeded rights to this piece, so they can all use it as they want. It's going to be maintained as woods. It can't be developed.
Yeah, open space not to be confused with a field.
Okay.
So
It's
basically,
not- they're not gonna cut down the trees and plant a lawn.
Okay.
It's all.
That's what I was assuming. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
so basically it's left as nature has it right now.
Non-developable land.
The idea being, you know, we had conservation subdivision being that we get so many lots to make up for the density, you start putting open space for X amount of lots. The idea, originally was there'd be a road and all the lots would face inwards, but for this property, that would actually you don't see it here, but he had a map where if we put the road in, it'd go right through 2 wetlands.
Yeah, so there's wetlands right through the middle of this lot here and coming off the power lines here.
Yeah, you'd be essentially looking at the back of people's homes from the main
Right.
street,
Right.
which would be awkward.
It would be weird.
Yeah, this was just a unique property because it's long and skinny that building a road just doesn't make any sense.
So it's the worst possible option.
Yeah.
Yeah. And luckily through all this, we came to the point where they don't need the road, but we got open space at 4 acres on every touch.
And I'm gonna assume that because of that, we've allowed those 2 last lots to be slightly smaller than conventional.
Yeah, the way that the conservation subdivision
Right.
reads, it's
Yeah.
it's at the discretion of the board for the lot sizes
You
within the
get points,
conservation.
the amount of open space gives you
Right.
points for
I don't know
density.
for that one, but yeah, this plan has evolved quite a lot since the
Yeah.
first one.
Yeah, in a better direction.
Did you have any questions? I know, again, you're new, so you're kind of getting shoved into it, so.
Yeah.
But say that's good learning one, so.
For everybody.
Yeah, this was I missed one and I thought I had to catch up. Oh, we're still doing it, so.
Is this gonna have, is water and sewer gonna run through there, or are they gonna be?
It's gonna be septic and wells.
Septic, so.
This is out at the end of, just so you know, this is out at the end of South Street where it meets, is at Poplarville Road.
Yeah.
Go road.
So, like,
Right near
by
the
Rockwood
four-way
Farm.
intersection.
Could be.
You're probably 2 feet from the Fitzwilliam town line at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, couldn't be further from the middle of town.
You know, when there's town water and sewer up South Main Street. Mike will have a new problem, that's all.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can see, but the circles,
Mhm.
those are the proposed
Well,
Well
radiuses.
Yeah.
Kyle, does it make sense to deal with the conditional use permit first? I can
think so.
I can do a motion on that.
Yeah, because we have a notice of decision in front of us, does everyone have that?
Yep.
So part of that is grant approval of the conditional use permit application to modify requirements for conservation subdivision ordinance. Article 4 are reasonable because the applicant demonstrated good cause and that the modifications are consistent with the purpose of the ordinance and are not detrimental to public health, safety, or welfare. And you went through the conditional use permit, I don't think we all have copies of that.
I think that we passed it out in the beginning of the meeting.
Oh, well then I lost it right here.
Right here.
It's, yeah, this one.
I might have just,
You want mine?
oh, you know, I bet you mine's in here. There you go.
That's probably the one I gave you. There was one rolled up with them.
Yeah.
Just another quick question. How often would you check the water? Sprinkler?
I believe it's the state that's
That's
involved in the testing, and the reason it was wanted to be put on the plan was so that all the homeowners are aware of it, and it'd be at their discretion to test it as much as they want to.
Normally, you don't ever, you test it when you buy it, and the coffee starts tasting weird, you test it again.
Yeah, this was brought up because I believe Dick found they were testing locally, so close proximity, they were testing and finding stuff.
Mhm.
So we thought it was prudent to have put in the plans, so people that buy this know there's something in the area.
Okay.
We feel it'd be good to just ignore it, something we know, so say something. Complete.
I scanned it in and I didn't read.
That happens. Yeah, let's show this Great, there you go. Jack, you said you wanted to make a motion?
Sure, I move to approve the conditional use permit for the conservation subdivision, modifying two provisions of the conservation subdivision ordinance, section F1.B, requiring all new lots to front on an interior road, and section F2.C.I, which has requirements for the open spaces to not have wetlands or not have slopes greater than 12%.
Second the motion.
Any discussion?
I think it's, in this case, the justification is around good cause, and also that it meets the intent and spirit of the ordinance. I think he's demonstrated good cause with the interior road, in that it would have had to cross a wetland and not likely be approvable with our wetlands ordinance. And on the second one, the requirement that the open space not have 12% slopes or wetlands, it's really not achievable in that lot.
Out of curiosity, do you have the two plans that show the density for the construction versus not?
Oh, like,
The
yeah,
original ones?
the impact area?
Yeah, impact areas.
I believe so, yeah.
I just thought it'd be good for the new members to see
Right.
kind of where we got to this.
Yeah, so the black areas are all the areas that there would be proposed regrading of the site, so that what you'd have for your yard space for septic and well and foundations to all be installed. And this is with driveways coming off the existing road. These are two lots here, there'd be driveways pretty close to each other. You'd end up with around 90,000 square feet of regraded area. And on this plan, when you get into building a road, you'd have to go through alteration of terrain, you'd have to do stormwater out back here. And the road would have to basically come in from a 90-degree from the existing road, and you would have to have 2 points of egress. You couldn't do a cul-de-sac, it specifically says that you're not allowed to. And you'd end up with something like this for the regrading. Because you'd be putting the road basically in the most ideal location for the houses and the septics, which would put you way uphill with these lots and way out towards the rear with these lots, plus you'd have the stormwater basin, so you'd be tripling the amount of disturbance on this site.
Plus you're going through wetlands.
Plus you're going through
So you're
all wetlands.
destroying the wetland.
Right, yeah, right in here. About 11,000 square feet of wetlands you'd have to disturb.
I just thought it was good for you guys to see that, well, we're gonna get to this stuff.
Sorry, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see.
How's the back of my shirt? Do you guys have any questions? Like I said, I'm just trying to get you guys rolling, and it's a good one to look at. He's got very good pictures, so kind of see where we're going. Obviously, you're coming to the tail end of this, so for you, it's like shooting in the dark, but at the same time, I think it's also good to try to show you what we've been doing, so you understand. Any other discussion on this? I mean, I think I would just make a comment during this that the developers worked with us very well to come to a solution that I feel is very good. We went from, obviously you see there, well, you guys can see original 8 lots, full waiver. They then came down, showed us impacts, and we now ended up at 6 lots with almost 4 acres of open space and never be developed, so. I think we've reached a pretty good middle of the road arrangement, and you've been very good with us, working with us, so thank you for that.
I appreciate you guys sticking through.
Any other discussion on the conditional use permit? You made a motion to approve, correct?
Yeah.
All those in favor of approving the conditional use permit? On conservation subdivisions, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Thank you, that passes. Alright, so that takes number 3 off the notice of decision. Determine no regional impact. So following conditions, prior to signing a plan, applicant will provide documentation of use of open space, prohibited, oh my god, of any development in open space area. Done that, and those notes there. Conditional, this is like a notice of decision with conditions, so
Right.
I think we, if I remember correctly, we technically sign it.
I think it's fine.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
It says
Yeah.
prior to signing.
But it becomes
plan.
null and void if you don't.
Well, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
because the decision gets recorded, so
Yeah.
the whole thing's no good if
Yeah,
the criteria is not met, but I was just hoping it could get signed before.
Yeah, that should be signed.
Yeah, I don't see an issue with that.
Yeah, okay.
These are just conditions to keep the approval,
Right, yeah.
and I'm just going over them so everyone on the board's on the same
Yep,
page.
yep, that's fine.
And driveway permits, and copy of the state subdivision septic approval when you get to that point.
Yep, we're almost there, we're waiting for this.
And you provided a note advising the property's proximity to Meadowwood site, which I believe you said was
Yep,
note
that's,
9.
oh yeah, it's not up anymore, it's note 9, yep.
Any other questions for the board or discussion?
Usually the conditional use that we don't sign it until all the conditions are met, that we approve it, and then, but again, I don't know that we've ever had this for a subdivision with a condition, it's always been.
You can't, if you don't sign it, he's in catch 22, you
Yeah.
can't get there from here, so
Yeah.
the logical thing, normally you sign it at this
Sign
point,
it.
it's approved,
Because
we
we-
agreed to
I
it.
know the,
Yeah, especially with the driveway permit thing, like, I don't know exactly what's gonna be built on these lots, so I don't wanna pull driveway permits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking through what we've done in the past, and,
so, one thing would be the, power station. We signed those, and they sent us everything since
As they
then
complete it.
to finish the completion of the,
Well, if he goes to record with this plan, it's got those notes all on the
all the
plan.
notes are on it, so. I think, yeah, we have a copy of the approved driveway permits, which would be for each individual lot. Just go on record. So I don't see an issue signing it once approved, because you're approving it that he does his stuff.
Right, you're putting all those conditions on it.
So, no, I don't see an issue signing them.
And I guess the one other question I had, the documentation relating to ownership, maintenance, and use of the open space. I believe my note covers that, just saying that it's prohibited from any future development. There's not really maintenance.
The property's in current use, right?
I don't know the
I'm
answer.
pretty sure it's in current use. So every time it remains in current use even though you've done a subdivision on it. Every time one of those lots is sold, until you're under 10
Under
acres,
10 acres for the remainder.
you're gonna have to, he's gonna have to pay a current use penalty.
Yep.
And so he's gonna have to take it out of current use to build.
Well, yeah.
So when he comes in, he's gonna have to have a new, there's gonna have to be wording in the new deed, the deed out to the new owner, that includes the notations on there.
Right,
So,
yeah, like you were saying at the last meeting that you have a 1/6 interest in the
Right.
open space plan.
Right,
Yeah.
but you're not gonna have that deed until they come out and until it's conveyed out.
Right,
And you'd have an illegal conveyance if you don't convey what's on the plan.
Right, okay, yep.
So it's really not an issue at this point.
Yeah.
And so it really should be signed off by the planning board.
Yep.
I would say now, did we just vote on this?
No.
No,
not yet.
conditional.
We vote on the conditional use,
Oh,
which was for the, Constable subdivision.
okay.
You're waiving him the requirement to do a road and
Right,
the percentage of wetlands.
and we're allowing 2 lots that are slightly under the 2 acres. So now that you've agreed to that, now you need to go to say, are we gonna approve this subdivision?
Yeah. So
I
let's,
would, for purposes of discussion, since we're already having the discussion, I move that we approve the subdivision as submitted.
Second.
any further discussion as we're discussing? Yeah, cause you already put ownership and use of the open space, and then means you can't do it on number 7, I believe.
Yeah, well, no, number 8, open space is provided for the use by owners of lots 1 through 6, and then any future development of the open space is prohibited.
Yeah.
So it's listed on the plan.
So that covers that, I believe.
Right.
There's no maintenance on it because it's open space.
Right.
I think the maintenance covers other things in the
Yeah,
subdivision.
it'd be more for stormwater, septic,
Yeah.
shared septics, or things of that nature.
And like Dick said, once you start selling them off, they have to go in the deed.
Well, if you wanna close,
Yeah. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the subdivision, Paxton divisions, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstains? Abstaining?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just from lack of familiarity,
Yep.
so.
So it passes. Congratulations,
Thanks.
and thank you.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
No.
We just wanna make sure you get through all the speed bumps, we wanted to test them out.
I guess the other question is, do we owe you any money?
I believe it's $51 for the filing fees, if that wasn't already submitted, I don't know.
Okay, so you'll have to look at that.
Yeah, but I can, let you know.
Okay, and then you guys take care of mailing to the registry?
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's a Mylar in there, and you'll sign it tonight, or,
I'll probably sign it tomorrow,
Yeah,
okay,
that's totally fine.
never do anything.
Okay, yeah.
She'll verify filing fees and let you know.
Okay,
Once you
yeah,
get that all
and
set, then-
if you need anything, you can just call me and I'll come down tomorrow and
Okay,
get
no worries.
whatever. fees.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you, yeah, did you guys finish the ADU pamphlet you were making? Did you guys- The ADU pamphlet you guys are making, did you guys?
oh,
finish
you
that?
know, I meant to bring that with me, yes. And I left it on my desk. Sorry I didn't bring it.
No, that's fine, I just saw it, I was like, I haven't heard anything about it, so.
Well, and then I looked at it and, I thought, well, I think everything we have is in compliance with proposed changes. I don't wanna print up 1,000 of them and then have the state change the rules. So we might wanna wait a couple of weeks, but
Yeah.
I'll send it back up. We made a couple of edits on it. And I'll make sure Curtis brings it next time he's here.
Okay.
But the answer is yes, we think we are done with it.
Yeah.
Also, we think we are done with the flow chart addressing the gentleman's issue earlier today. It's a flow chart that says if you wanna get here, you start here, and then you go there, and there, and there. Like in his case, he just kept doing this.
Yeah, I actually have a question about that. Is that, you need a denial before going to ZBA?
Correct.
That's a state law?
That is an accepted procedure, it's a normal, why else would you go to the ZBA? You haven't been denied anything.
Well, I guess like if you're.
We had a couple times where we, okay, you're obviously gonna get denied, just go ahead. The problem
Right,
is-
that's,
You're
I'm
jumping
on,
out of procedure,
Yeah.
so it causes issues.
I'm on the planning board at Fitzwilliam and we send people to ZBA all the time.
Well, and so you haven't been sued recently. So
Ah.
we've had procedural issues where we did it that way, and then we wound up in court.
Because you need a denial.
And when somebody didn't like the,
Because it's basically, it's filing an appeal from a denial.
Correct.
Essentially.
that,
what you
that's
do.
the name. And so when we wound up in court, the basis for the court case, where we issued permits that were granted based on an approval that came out of a ZBA hearing, but somebody who didn't like what the ZBA hearing did, and they said, well, you never got a denial, so how could you get this?
I see.
And in this case where I say we, I'm talking about the select board. And then, of course, what you find is that the court said, well, the select board, they trump everybody. No pun intended, but really none. But that's the point is, we're not supposed to do that.
Okay,
So you're supposed to get a denial here and then go over there.
right.
And the practice, and then you find out when you talk to people on the other side of the state, where everybody's uptight, that the left-hand side of the state has run on a far more casual basis.
Then over like for the Portsmouth.
Yeah, if you go over to Portsmouth, there is no way, Jose,
Okay.
that you're going to the ZBA without a planning board denial. So, you know.
Plus, it's a way to make sure all the boards communicate.
Yeah, no, it makes
Right.
sense. I'm gonna,
Plus, too, you know, once you have the flow chart, any new people come on boards. Plus, too, you know, once you have the flow chart, any new people come on boards. The flow
Correct.
chart's there, so you don't have to
Right.
relearn
And
it.
then when you want to change a procedure, you know what your procedure was, so you know what you're changing. Cool. And it's in color with bubbles.
So hopefully I answered that question.
yeah. Alright, thanks
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Kind of segueing on that, that kind of brings up the case of Mr. Tran, who sort of gave us a site plan application last week, but it wasn't at all complete.
I have,
But I think we were gonna have a discussion about whether we thought it was a permitted use or not.
So I
But
talked-
based on what Dick said, do we have to get the full, complete site plan before we do that?
hold on. I got-
You wanna read it to him? I'll read it to him.
Yes, you got it pulled up already.
Jeremy,
I was
let me
trying-
just find it. Here is Carol's comments from this afternoon's conversation with Mr. Tran. And I read your minutes, I thought they were pretty accurate. Hi Abby, please share this with the appropriate parties. I believe the planning board are the appropriate parties. Yesterday I heard from both.
This is from Carol?
This is from Carol. For you gentlemen who are new here, Carol Ogilvy is our paid consultant from the Southwestern Regional Planning Commission.
She's amazing.
Yesterday I heard from both Mr. Tran and his engineer. Apparently he does not work for Amtrak, apparently he's a professional engineer. They both stated that they had not filed an application. They have not filed an application. And that their presence at the last planning board meeting was for a conceptual consultation. I had tried to watch the video, but it cut in and out after 17 minutes. I also told them that in my opinion, what was shown on the conceptual plan was not a use permitted in that district. Similar perhaps, but not specifically, and that they would need a variance if that concept was his intention, and explained that process to them. Mr. Tran said that he was not at all sure what he wanted to do. Mr. Tran said, I don't know what I want to do. I would expect, based on those two conversations, that Mr. Tran will either apply for a variance or come up with a new plan. So,
I think he needs to decide what he's doing, and bring a plan here. So we can either
yeah, if he's
deny
not,
it on ZBA or go
if he's
from
not putting trailers on the lot, he should take the ones he's got there off,
there and pick up the trash.
as well as the trash.
Did that pile grow or they just uncover it?
No, it grew.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a new vehicle there. And we're talking about on Route 12 as you head
The-
south on the left-hand side. That was never anything approved. That was,
And, just so you guys are aware, this is what they brought in as a conceptual.
So this wasn't gonna be like this wasn't gonna be like blacktop, this was just gonna be dirt.
That's what they want.
well, it would be mud if you go look at it. It's not,
assuming you can get over the stuff.
Like, the weight's gonna go,
Correct.
I also point out that scale is slightly off according to the scale ruler. So
Well, unless the trailers are 172 feet long.
how often was he planning on, like, moving these trailers in and out? And
If he made an application and he had a hearing with the planning board, we would know those things.
In our meeting minutes, it said that he had anticipated 2 to 3 per week.
Right. Maybe.
That's-
Or he might do
that's-
something else.
just so he kind of knows what we're talking about.
I think I saw that
So
one.
he just cut the trees down.
Well, there's something called an intent to cut, and he was properly issued an intent to cut. He clear cut it, but that's permissible. After that, he just did what he wanted. There was a welcome to Troy sign there on a granite post, which he literally drove his truck over. So,
He left stuff hanging off the East Hill.
So he does not come to a meeting.
he came to the last one.
The last one,
The last
he brought that, but it was not an official hearing, it was just we wanted to discuss their ideas. But he's been in legal action with the town, which I believe he's supposed to have submitted some sort of site plan back in January.
Mm-hmm. He was supposed to have submitted a full application to the planning board by January 31st.
I find that I'm really shocked the state allowed an entrance on 12 with that rolling hill there. And
Well, we had that conversation with them too. And they said they didn't have a basis for denial, it was a single entrance to the lot, and they had at least 250 feet of visibility in each direction. And if you read the state's approval, it very specifically says that, number one, issuance of a state driveway permit is not a waiver of site plan review required by the town of Troy. Number two, he would have to work out the location of the Welcome to Troy sign. And there were 3 or 4 other he would have to have it, the entrance would have to be of a material that was compliant with state rules, et cetera, et cetera. So he's, just do what you want and beg for forgiveness.
You possibly get a copy of that, so when he brings a site plan, we know what that's supposed to be on.
Abby, can you get him a copy of that?
I'm sorry, a copy.
The driveway permit, it should be in the property file.
Yeah, I can do that.
Just so if he does bring a site plan, we know what the conditions from the state are to make sure they know what's on the site plan. Oops, sorry.
Was the driveway also gonna be on Quarry Road, correct?
Well, he obtained a driveway permit from the town, which issues those permits. Which I don't know what the status of that might be after the next selectmen's meeting. There will probably be a motion to rescind that permit.
Cause there's no way he's gonna drive a trailer through that little road at all.
No.
Never mind the road, the law.
I think just turning in now is going to destroy the road.
Which road? The highway or Quarry Road?
Yeah, or maybe both, but Quarry.
Well, it would be entertaining to watch them try and get through that lot without any grading, at a tractor trailer. He's already been stuck once, when he shoved those trailers in there. He did it on a rainy day in October or November, and the tractor trailer was axle deep in mud. They had to actually get J&J come, I think it was J&J came and pulled them out, yeah.
Can't be profitable.
Isn't that the whole point of having a light industrial district, is to limit heavy truck traffic?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that's
also
my
only
understanding
allowed,
of it.
so light industrial, if you read that, only allows 50% coverage. He's obviously.
Yeah,
one of
it's-
99.9%.
So first off, he has to shrink down.
Yeah,
But the biggest first issue when he brings it to us is the use is not an approved one.
yeah.
So you then have to go to ZBA. And if they approve the use, then we go back into the site plan process.
So far, nothing he's done there is,
We're kind of following a little bit online.
yeah, I'll bet.
So those are empty trailers he has just sitting there.
Nobody in this room said that. We don't know what's in them. In fact, we know that there's stuff in them.
It appears, what I've heard is that he buys out
Dorm
tools
rooms.
or something.
That's what he says.
And then, yeah, and then stores it in.
Yeah,
trailers
last
until it
meeting
can
he
be
said he buys like old dorm rooms and school rooms and then sells the stuff. Stores them in trailers, so.
But that's not inherently objectionable if that's really what he does.
Yeah.
But some of this has become questionable.
But until he comes back, there's not much more to discuss, so. But I just thought we'd see what we had in front of us. Let's see, cover that, cover that. Do we have anything else specifically on the agenda for tonight? Next meeting, hopefully I'll see the ADU thing. You said you might still hold off a couple weeks, so I'll just do the
Well, it's
state.
Yeah, well, you got some, there's a couple of bills particularly pertaining to ADUs that are, they're virtually identical bills in both the House and the Senate. And the approval, the support appears to be overwhelmingly bipartisan. I think Troy's in compliance with it, but you might as well just wait until they're
Yeah.
voted on.
Yeah.
So.
Alrighty. Nothing else for old business, correct? I think we covered all that. No public comment on Zoom or anything, I assume?
No, I haven't gotten anything. Let me check that. Nothing I need to do.
Work program brainstorm. Road safety.
I have stuff for road safety. We have a couple of changes that are partially an outgrowth of the bridge project that the state's running, and partially an outgrowth of what appears to be a long-standing kind of problem. And so, and they're all in the category of road safety. And the first one is Prospect Street, the section between Route 12 and High Street. If you're not familiar with the road, it comes off of Route 12 at an obtuse angle heading south, and it becomes very narrow. It's actually under 12 feet wide, where the ledge comes into the road. And on the western side, there's ledge, and on the eastern side, it drops down 40 feet to the railroad bed. So it's a little tight, and that's a two-way road. The state, because of what they need to do to rebuild this railroad bridge, is suggested that we, at least for the time that they're working on it, make that a one-way road uphill, and then at to the ledge part, and then two-way to the ledge, so that people who live in those three houses can get in and out of those houses, which seems to be fine. The select board is going to propose that we make that a permanent arrangement, because it's really a safety issue. Someday somebody's going to get whacked up there, and it's going to be bad. That's the first one. The second one is to temporarily close Old Keene Road, where it comes out on the north end, because they're going to be rebuilding that bridge on Route 12 as well. And between Lawrence Road, Route 12, Old Keene Road, and there's a driveway almost opposite Old Keene Road, it requires a virtual labyrinth of traffic lights and is likely to result in massive delays. So that road would be temporarily closed for the 6 months while they're working on that road. At least that end of it. So it would be inconvenient for the people who live there, but certainly much safer and easier than trying to get everybody and their brother to get through this weird combination of traffic lights. The third thing is Depot Street. Depot Street, we are tentatively going to propose be one way downhill, and that we add 3 parking spaces to the eastern side of the street. There are a couple of issues there, but it basically comes down to, if you're familiar with it at all, it's a school bus stop. And if you are there at various times of the day, people simply park in the middle of, literally park in the middle of the street, because the street is about a car and a half wide, maybe 2 cars wide, which is exacerbated by the fact that the town has paved over onto the property of 31 Central Square. So you have more road than you actually have right of way. So that issue needs to be addressed, but it would accommodate 2 conventional parking spaces and then 1 space. Our plan was for a 3rd restricted parking space for handicapped in front of Kimball Hall. And that would give, there is no parking for the Helping Hand, and they do have customers that come in and out. They do not have legal access to the parking lot at the back of 31 Central Square. It is commonly used, and it has been for a while, but there isn't actually, in fact, there's quite the reverse of that. There is no permission to do that. So that would be the proposal there, is to actually increase the parking, but or have parallel parking, but you would have to head south on Depot Street. South on Depot Street to Water Street, it would be 1 way. And that means that Prospect Street, which has been 2 ways for a half a dozen years now, and seems to work quite well. If you've ever come out of Depot Street, it's actually it is a completely blind intersection. If you bring your front wheels up to the actual stop sign at the stop line, you can look nicely into the windows of the Helping Hand. If you bring your rear wheels up to the stop line, depending upon what kind of car you have, and I drive a Cadillac, so it's larger, you've got a pretty good shot at the storage shed on the side of the Helping Hand. But you have to pull out into the intersection to actually look up High Street and see what the oncoming traffic is. So that represents a substantial challenge. There is no way to make that a proper intersection heading north. So that means all the Prospect Street traffic would either have to go out Water Street or up Prospect Street. There has been a concern about the entrance of Water Street onto Route 12. Because there is a sign there, which is a grandfathered sign, and there is no practical, you would have a total bottleneck if you closed off Water Street coming into Route 12, and you still have better visibility, so the least bad option is to leave Water Street the way it is. You can look around, you can see what's coming around the common. So that we're gonna leave that as a 2-way street for now. At some point, somebody may close it off, but I don't see that. So those are the road safety issues that the selectmen are planning, and our plan has been to have a hearing on that. We had planned to do it in January, but then that got busy with budgets and so forth. And I'm not ignoring you. No, we're trying to. We want to get as many stakeholders in there as we can. We've talked to the people that run the Helping Hand. They seem comfortable with it at this point. So I think the folks at Kimball Hall would be happy to have a couple more parking spaces, and certainly a handicap space would be the best thing. That's the best place to put it, right in front of their door. So we will, once the board reorganizes here next Friday, we'll figure out what our schedule looks like and probably put that as a hearing at the beginning of our one of our selectmen's meetings in the next month or 2, because we got nothing else to do. It's always important for you new guys to understand there's a difference between a public hearing and a public meeting. So a public hearing is where you take input. A public meeting is, or maybe I've got the other way around. One you take input, and one you just say, this is the plan, this is what we're doing. So, and in this case, we will take input. Most of our meetings are not that well organized, and they always wind up with input anyway. But so anyway, that's the plan on, that's our road agenda, in terms of safety. We certainly believe that Prospect Street and Depot Street represent long-term improvements to road safety in Troy at very minimal expense. You know, there are accidents that happen, you know, you get into that argument, well, nobody's had an accident yet. Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Just because you brought it up, how will they, you probably might not have the answer, how are they gonna navigate the bridges? Are they gonna send us through Marlboro?
No, oh my God. Oh,
One side at a time?
yeah, one side at a time.
Alright,
And
that's just curious.
it's not, the problem is where both of these two bridges are, that's why we're getting involved with these roads.
Right.
It's not just, if that was a bridge in the middle of a straightaway, you do this side and then that side. But you've got the common over here, and then you've got Prospect Street over there, and then on the other end, you've got literally 4 roads that come right in. And unless we do something, they have to accommodate so that you can have in and out traffic on all of those things.
Okay.
On the north end, I think they had like 3 traffic lights. Can you imagine, as bad as it was, like when they were redoing?
It wasn't that bad, but it was bad, but it wasn't that bad.
Well, I don't
They
think,
did a good job with it.
I thought they did a good job, but sometimes I don't think the lights were in sync.
Right, I agree.
And so now they're
5
gonna,
o'clock in the morning, they were like completely off.
yeah,
They would turn on, off.
right. So do you really think they're gonna coordinate 3 lights within 15 feet of each other?
No.
No, that's never gonna happen, so.
Okay, I just didn't know if I had to be going through Marlboro, so we're pretty good.
No.
I'm trying to do like 45.
I think in Nelson, I think the center of Nelson.
I'm trying to do like 45.
I think the center of Nelson's 20.
Yeah, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Just let it coast down forth,
Yeah.
go along, and then you start building it up again. I find all those little back roads. Yeah, I hate doing 202 and 9 with the Zoom vehicles. I can't do speed limit anyway, so.
Fiat would be all right.
Yeah, Fiat's pretty good. The
Oh,
issue
yeah?
with Fiat is I do the exact opposite. I
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah.
just, what's the speed limit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that tax way too high.
It's a guideline.
Yeah. So probably build tracking. What's build tracking? Is that just the house bill stuff?
Yeah, house bills. Sorry, I could probably put house in front of bill, but thought it'd be fun.
Probably just put New Hampshire build tracking. You'd be the house every 7.
Oh, we got a bunch of them.
Yeah, did we get an email with a list? I feel like I saw a list.
I know NHMA sometimes sends it out.
Yeah, there was one from NHMA.
But did Carol have one?
I haven't seen one.
No, okay. Maybe I imagined it. I don't know. Yeah, I thought I saw something like she had made some sort of.
We want to know what's on the docket for
I don't
tomorrow.
have my computer with me, but.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Okay, HB 351. Probably not really interesting here. That bill to increase the notice to tenants from 30 days to 60 days on an eviction. 558, creating a public county registry for monthly rents. That's going to be probably be ITL, using prohibiting landlords from using logarithms or statistics to determine their rental rates. Socialism. HB 628, prohibiting landlords from discriminating against prospective tenants holding Section 8 vouchers. And that's it for housing related. And
Fort Park.
there's nothing, that's the only thing related, labor industry. No, I mean, we have quite a docket tomorrow, so.
Yeah, she had sent over a quick one that I think she found on the NHMA. I'll forward it back out to you.
Yeah, I do
The
think.
one on Class 6 roads? They're not
No,
on
she
the,
just gave a 2025 legislative update.
Oh,
Just
okay.
kind of.
They were kind of centered around stuff that might affect us, if I remember.
Yes.
I think it was February.
yeah, I think I wrote it
And
too.
we were kind of. Yeah, if you see great, if not, we will have her just resend it out.
I can send it out, she did send it in February 22nd.
So it's
I'll
fine.
resend it out, that's fine.
Yeah, if you send it out too, because we have 2 new.
I don't know, right, how does that work with you guys, have you given anybody your emails, Jerry?
Yeah, I've been getting them.
Okay, great,
They're on the list.
good.
Have you received anything? Have you received any emails?
Got one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does the planning board one work? Planning board at Troy dot New or Troy New Hampshire?
Does it say planning board group?
No,
If you forward it to me, I can forward it to
got
you.
it. Got it. I can do that.
So we'll do that. What that does too is kind of let us know what's going through the house, we have to look at. So I
Yeah,
guess,
it's literally a giant list of just house bills and
Yeah.
a quick description of them all.
you think pass something in the state that conflicts with our ordinance, we have to come in compliance, we know, to start looking at it. Like the ADU one, which I believe has changed from the original, isn't it, Dick? What's it up to now, the ADU one?
Well, this week,
Yeah,
well, I meant literally, it's changed from week to week.
yeah,
So you have one ADU by right now.
yeah.
And the bill that is in, there's 2 bills. One is to allow 2 ADUs by right, and I don't know what the future of that is, but the other one is that they currently, it is permissible for a municipality to require that they be physically attached. And they are looking to make that not be the case. So, and I don't believe in Troy and Fitzwilliam we require that they be attached. But there are other towns that do. And so that's an issue, particularly on the eastern side of the state where they've fought these. So
that one probably wouldn't affect us, but.
that wouldn't, 2 by right would. And the concern here, and you can make your own decisions on how you feel about this, the New Hampshire Municipal Association has opposed a number of these things more as a matter of policy than whether they like the rule or not. Because the real issue for NHMA, which I'm not sure I disagree with, is that what this is top-down zoning. If you're not familiar with the structure of New Hampshire, municipalities can, anything that a municipality does is done because the state has voted to allow it. So it's the reverse of the federal constitution. The federal constitution says you can't do these things, and anything that we don't specify, knock your socks off. New Hampshire's arrangement is, unless it's specifically allowed in statute, you can't do it. So it's a different arrangement in the state with regards to municipalities. And so the NHMA's concern, and many people's concern, is that they're trying to do one-size-fits-all zoning from Concord, which is heavily weighted towards the eastern side of the state because that's where everybody lives. So what is a problem in Portsmouth may not be a problem in Swansea.
Or what may be good in Portsmouth may not be good for here, type of thing.
Yes, one of the bills that will be coming our way that's relevant, a good example of this is that you can not require a lot greater than 22,000 square feet, 22,000 square feet, a half-acre lot. You can have lots greater than 22,000 square feet, but if you can't prohibit someone from subdividing down. And so, you can make cases on both sides of it. So if you look, again, as I was saying, if you look around Troy Common, if you look at downtown Keene, well, the whole of Troy Common is probably 4 acres. And how many buildings are down here? So you have a lot of density. But you go out where Jack lives, you've got to Bowkerville, where I used to live, there's 6 houses on 50 acres. Well, less than that, actually. So what they're saying is you couldn't prohibit us from subdividing our 30-acre parcels into 15 lots. And there's another bill that's coming down saying you can't prohibit it. Well, you can say, well, there's no road frontage. Well, there's another bill that says, well, it can't prohibit people from building a private road and issuing, you must issue a building permit on a private road. So, Matt, we have 27 acres, Matt. So you could take a private road right down the middle of it, and theoretically, you could have however many lots that is, and you can't prohibit it. Assuming you can prove that you have adequate well and capacity for well and septic, but you can have shared wells. You can get a septic, depending upon soil conditions and wetland conditions, you can get an operating septic on a half-acre lot. The easiest example of that, for just ease of reference, is Fitzwilliam Village. If you go around on the common in Fitzwilliam, those are all private septics, and they're all on tiny lots. There's kind of a water system down there, but they're all on septic systems. Some of those septic systems are the size of these tables. You know, they're jammed in a 10-foot side yard. But that's legal and permissible, and you can do it. Some of them work great, some of them less so. So that's a bill that's on the table. Two bills, actually. There's a third bill, which is to say you can't deny building. We've had this debate since I got here. Can't deny building permit on a Class 6 road. It's a public highway. Because if you can build on a private road, why can't you build on a Class 6 road? That's a public way. That's actually higher than a private road. So there's things that are going to be a challenge for this town. I think it's a self-correcting problem. You're going to have 6 people that want to build on a Class 6 road, and then the cost is going to be prohibitive. The guy that built up on West Hill Road and improved that road happens to own a quarry.
Right.
And if he didn't happen to own a quarry, there is no way that you...
Give us issues at some point.
Yeah, but the money will correct it.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a Class 6 road over in Portsmouth, baby, they're gonna find that money. I mean, the average, for those of you who don't know, the average sales price in Portsmouth is $1.2 million. Right. That's for like a 900 square foot bungalow built in the 1940s.
Moving the bungalow on back. Alright, so I guess send that list out and then we'll bring it up next meeting.
You'll have it when you should.
I sent it and then I realized the attachment didn't send, so I sent it again.
I do that all the time.
Anything for Selectmen's updates? Other than-
No, I think I gave you all the updates,
I've kind of figured, but make sure.
rattling on here.
Alright, looks like our next meeting is April 2nd, 2025. Be here 7 o'clock.
And for you two new gentlemen, you do not normally have the thrill of my presence. Normally you have Curtis Hopkins, who's much better behaved than me.
So meeting adjourned at 8:32.